Good afternoon, students. So, congratulations on making it halfway through your class. We are currently in week 4 of our class, and so far we've done the illustrative essay, and you should be halfway through your illustrative essay, in which you've already transformed your outline into a 5-paragraph essay structure, and then you should have already handed in your part 2 assignment. And then what I've done is I gave you a template for you to follow, in which I corrected your thesis statement. I also made sure that you had topic sentences that match your thesis statement. And a common mistake in the illustrative essay is some students are still writing their thesis statement as a question. Your thesis statement needs to be a sentence. So that sentence then states the main idea of your essay. So that's what a thesis is. An effective thesis, as we're going to discuss in a future forum, has topic plus opinion plus reasons, in which we have the what and the why. An ineffective thesis statement would be something like, abortion is immoral, period. Then an effective thesis statement would be, abortion is immoral because reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. And then your body paragraphs would then become your reasons. So paragraph 2 would be reason 1, paragraph 3 would be reason 2, paragraph 4 would be reason 3. Then in your conclusion, you repeat the thesis as the first sentence of the last paragraph. And in your conclusion, after you write the thesis, then you summarize the essay in 5 sentences. In other words, what takeaway lessons do you want the reader to have, or after reading your essay? So that's pretty much, so when you write your essay, you need to have 3 parts: introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. And in the introduction, you need to have a hook. The hook is the first sentence that grabs the reader's attention. So there are many different kinds of hooks. You could have an interesting quotation, you can state an unusual fact, or you can have a cliffhanger. So those are different ways in which you can hook, or you can ask an interesting question. Have people ever gone to outer space? Before beginning a essay about outer space, to get people to be interested in your essay. Then you have 5 background sentences. So then in the 5 background sentences, you will state the reason why you chose your topic. And then then the last part of the introduction, you have your hook, 5 background sentences, and then you have your thesis. So in your thesis, which is the last sentence of the introduction, you then write your topic, your opinion, and your reasons. And so if you want to look up more about the introduction paragraph, you can look up funnel introduction paragraph in order to learn more about why your introduction paragraph is like an upside down triangle. That's because we start the introduction with a general statement, and then we finish the introduction with a specific statement, and that specific statement is your thesis statement. So that's like an upside down triangle, like a funnel. So think of it as a funnel or a tornado, where your thesis statement, which is a summary of all of your body paragraphs in 1 sentence. Then each topic sentence would then match the 3 reasons in your thesis statement. And then each body paragraph has to be indented 5 spaces, just the first line, and then the rest of the paragraph should be left justified. I don't know if that comes out correctly on the Zoom. It always comes out, the opposite. And that's also, you need to double space your paper. And if you want to see a actual APA paper, you can Google Diana Hacker sample APA paper, and then you can download you have to use those exact words, Diana Hacker, like someone who hacks a computer, that word, and then sample APA paper, and that will bring you to that website, and then you can just click on the link and then download the sample APA paper. So part of your grade is that you have to have proper APA formatting in your paper. Now for Essay 1, using APA was voluntary, but for your Essay 2, which is going to be the persuasive essay, you have to have an APA in-text citation. And so for your second essay, the persuasive essay, you're going to be doing the writing process in which you have week 4, it would be the outline for the persuasive essay. Week 6 is going to be, you're going to write your rough draft in which you transform the outline into a 5-paragraph essay. And then in week 8, you will hand in your final draft of your Essay 2, of your persuasive essay. So in a persuasive essay, you want to convince the reader of your point of view. And so therefore, you can go to the procon.org website in order to find a topic that you are interested in. And so when you go to the procon.org website, you can click on the link. In other words, first you find what topic you're interested in. So let's say you're interested in gun control. So then you click on the link that says gun control. Then you scroll all the way down, and then you're going to see pros and cons. Pro means you're for gun control. Cons means you're against gun control. And you get to choose which one you're at. Are you for it or are you against it? So when you write your persuasive essay, you need to take a stand. You need to take a position on the topic. You cannot just simply say, there are pros and cons to gun control, or there are pros and cons to whatever your topic is, because that's too neutral. Because when you do a persuasive essay, you want to persuade someone that abortion is immoral or gun control is necessary. So as a result, you yourself, you the writer, you have to take a side. So you have to decide if you're for or against the topic. Once you decide what side you're taking, then you state the position clearly in your thesis statement. You would say, gun control is necessary because reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. So clearly state what you are for or against the topic in your thesis statement. Then use your body paragraphs to support, justify, prove your claim. In other words, if I want to prove my claim that gun control is absolutely necessary to reduce violence, to keep kids from accidentally setting off guns, to have a complete mental background check. So let's say those are the reasons why we should have gun control. Then you would write those reasons, reducing crime, more background checks, preventing kids from accidentally opening a gun by having better gun locks to lock your gun. And so better gun control, then you support your claim, because in anything that you write in English, whenever you make a claim, you have to back up that claim with credible evidence. You have to have ethos, pathos, and logos, because those are the 3 pillars of persuasion that Aristotle came up with. So in order to have a persuasive argument, you have to have ethos. Ethos is the appeal to credibility. So ethos means that your argument is written by experts. Pathos means that you're neutral. It means that the appeal to emotion, and that you can use descriptive language to appeal to the reader's emotion, to get the reader to empathize with your point of view. Then appeal to logos, appeal to logic. So ethos, pathos, logos. Logos is the appeal to logic, and that's when we use logos is if your essay has a thesis statement and matching body paragraphs and good essay structure. So therefore, in order to have a good argument, you have to have all three appeals: ethos, pathos, and logos. If you're missing any of those appeals, then your argument is no longer credible. An example would be if I just based my argument only on pathos. A good example of that would be those ASPCA commercials where you see an animal in need. It's very, very sad, and then they want you to give money, donate money, based on the pity that you feel for the dogs. That's pathos, appeal to emotion. And only then it lacks ethos because it's not written by experts, and it lacks logos because it doesn't have any credible evidence to back it up. So we never base our argument only on one appeal. We want to base our argument on all three appeals: ethos, pathos, and logos, in order to avoid fallacies, because most TV commercials are fallacies of relevance. Because a TV commercial, they would make a claim and not back it up with credible evidence. And so then you end up with a fallacy. So we don't want our papers to have fallacies, that is, illogical arguments. We want our papers to be logical, ethical, and appeal to have all three appeals. How do you do that? You use proper APA in-text citations. You use proper APA reference citations. When do we use APA? Well, we use APA every time we cite any kind of number, whether the number is a percentage, statistics, historical facts, medical facts, scientific facts, any kind of uncommon knowledge. You have to cite the source in order to make your paper to be credible. Take Wikipedia, for example. That's not a credible source because it lacks in-text citations. In other words, anybody can just upload anything and imagine anything off the top of their head. So if you don't have in-text citations, then I could just make up something off the top of my head and have no credible evidence to back up my claim. So that is why when we make a claim, that is, in this case, making a claim means that you take a stand on an issue. Okay, so that's your claim. Your claim is abortion is immoral. Okay, that becomes your claim, and then you got to back it up as to, well, why is abortion immoral? That's where your reasons come in. Okay, then you have to have the what, abortion is immoral, and then the why. So your thesis statement must contain both elements, the what and the why, in order for you to have an effective thesis. Because anytime you make a claim in English, you need to back it up. So therefore, how do we know if something is credible? That's where we use CAPOW. CAPOW is the way in which, if we were to look at a website on the web and we have to decide for ourselves, is this website a credible source for my paper? And so CAPOW, by using CAPOW, by analyzing that website using CAPOW, we can then ascertain if that website is credible enough to be used for our research paper. And so what is CAPOW? CAPOW is C for currency. In other words, how current is your article? Is your article within 10 years? In other words, anything beyond 10 years, your article is old and obsolete. A stands for author. Is the author of the article an expert? If not, that article is out. P for purpose. Is that article an advertisement? If that article is an advertisement, it's out. So in other words, P stands for purpose. What is the purpose of the article? And so you want the purpose of the article to be informative, to be educational, and you have to make sure that the website that you're taking the article from ends in .edu, .org, or .gov. So that makes it credible. So that's purpose. O stands for objectivity. Does the article cover both sides of the issue, or does it cherry pick its facts? Because if it cherry picks its facts, then it is biased. So you want to avoid a biased article. And so if I want to give examples of biased articles, you would go to foxnews.com. And on foxnews.com, everything leans towards Republicans. If I go to CNN.com, everything is biased towards the Democrats. So you want to avoid biased sources. Okay, so that's O for objectivity. So if you want to find unbiased articles, you would go to allsides.com. And on that website, they cover the topics from the left, the right, and the center. So you always want to stay to the center of, and you want an article that is objective, in other words, neutral. So that is O in CAPOW for objectivity. W is writing style. Is the writing style professional? Does it have a lot of mistakes? Does it have bad grammar? Does the website list its credentials, like who wrote the article or how old the website is? So, and does the article have good essay structure? So that's like logos. So CAPOW and ethos, pathos, and logos and CAPOW overlap. They're about the same thing, okay? So you want both. When you look for sources, you want a source that has ethos, pathos, and logos, and you want a source that is CAPOW, that uses, that fulfills the CAPOW, the currency, the author, the purpose, objectivity, and writing style. And you can always go to Google Scholar for credible sources. So if you go to Google Scholar, and if you go to your online library and the databases, you will get credible sources. Peer-reviewed articles are the most credible sources that you can find for your paper. A peer-reviewed article is an article that's been looked at by other experts, and other experts have approved of that article. So those are the articles. And if you want to find peer-reviewed articles in your online library, you just have to find where the checkbox is, and you just check the box that says peer-reviewed articles, and then submit, and then all the articles that appear are all going to be peer-reviewed articles. And when we use APA, you have two kinds of quotes. You have a direct quote where you quote word per word, verbatim. So you have to use quotation marks, you have to use the author, the date, and the page number. Then when you have the paraphrase quote, that's when you put the quote in your own words. Then you don't need quotation marks, and you just need to have author and date. So for your second half of this class, you're done with the first half of the class, because most of you have mastered the essay structure. Okay, most of you know how to write a thesis statement with matching body paragraphs. So the second half of the class, you're going to learn more about APA and how to find credible sources. And so I hope that and this week we're going to talk about pre-writing. So the 3 steps of the writing process. And the writing process can be used for anything that you write, not just simply for essays. I had one student who said, well, I've never really got to use writing process because I don't really write essays. I don't get to write essays. And I remember I wrote for that student in the post, I said, the writing process is not just used only for essays, it's used for anything that you write. Anytime you want to communicate or write an effective message, we use the writing process. So the writing process is the way in which you have 3 stages. You have the 3 stages are pre-writing, writing, and rewriting. And so in pre-writing, you come up with an essay topic, you come up with a thesis statement, and then there are many different kinds of pre-writing activities, such as listing, in which you list everything you know about the topic. Then you've got free writing, in which you just write everything that you can think of as you write it down. And then you've got questioning, in which you ask yourself, what do I want to know about the topic? What am I curious about the topic? And that sort of thing. So you write, that's questioning. And then you have mind mapping, which is one of my favorites, in which you, in the center circle, you write the main idea. And then in the outer circles, you write the reasons. And so that would be your mapping. You can use a software like text to mind map, and you could use that in order to mind map your paper so that you could visualize the paper before you write it. Second stage is you transform the outline into a 5-paragraph essay structure. Then the last stage, rewriting. So after I receive your rough draft, and then I will give you a better template for you to follow, then you would rewrite your essay based on my template for your final draft. And so once again, that's how we follow the writing process all the way through, which is pre-writing, writing, and rewriting. And so you can do that for, rewrite. You can do your writing process for anything. For when you write an email, when you write a business letter, when you write anything that you write. So for instance, if I'm going to write an email, I would do the whole writing process in my head in like a couple of minutes. So in my head, I would visualize, what is it I'm going to say in the email? I'm going to make sure that whatever I write in the email is just one main idea, not 5 different ideas. So one main idea per email. So that would be pre-writing. Then I do the actual writing of the email, and that would be writing. And then I take a couple of minutes to make sure that I make no spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, and that sort of thing. That would be rewriting. And then in 5 minutes, I send my email. So writing process takes as long as it takes for you to write the email, maybe 5 minutes. It's not a long, drawn out, a whole week or whatever kind of thing. It's something that you do automatically in your head. And then if you write a business letter, it takes a little bit longer because you have to write 3 paragraphs when you write a business letter, in which you write the introduction, in which you have the main idea of whatever your business letter is going to be about. Then you have your 1 3-sentence body paragraph in which you describe whatever that main idea was. And then you have your conclusion, 1 sentence or so, in which it's a call to action of what you want the reader to do. So that becomes your business letter, just like 2 or 3 sentences per paragraph. So in a business letter, your paragraphs do not have to be 5 to 7 sentences. That's only for essays. So in whatever it is that you write, we can use the writing process in order to center ourselves so that we don't have writer's block and to organize our thoughts. So, so for the second half of this class, we're going to be doing the persuasive essay. And if you have any questions about the assignments, if you want to do a one-on-one Zoom with me, actually the reason why I'm sitting around here waiting, I'm actually waiting for a student to show up for her one-on-one Zoom. And since she didn't show up, I end up making this lecture instead. And as the longer this lecture is, that means the longer I'm waiting for her to show up. So once I run out of things to say, then she's out of luck and she will have to make another appointment to see me. So I give you these options. Reach out to me if you're having problems in the class, if you're confused about what you need to do, if you have writer's block, then reach out to me to ask for help. You can call me, you can email me, or have this one-on-one Zoom in which then I could share my screen and do a whiteboard with you and go over your essay and your essay content if you are having trouble understanding how to write an essay. Or if you get stuck, let's say I send you the template and you don't know how to fill in the supporting sentences. So basically when I do give you the template, I give you the overall structure. I give you the introduction, the thesis statement. I then give you the topic sentences, and all you have to do is just fill in the supporting sentences to support the topic sentences. And so I always tell students to use pie structure. So pie structure means that we only use one in-text citation per paragraph. And so you have P is the main point, that's the existing topic sentence that I've already put in to your template. Then you write your in-text citation, which be like 50% of Americans are overweight, for instance. Then, whenever we use any kind of number, we put author, we put the quotation marks, author, date, page number. Okay, so that's I for in-text citation. E stands for explanation of that in-text citation. So after you put in your P, main point, I, in-text citation, then the rest of the paragraph, body paragraph, you write about what that one in-text citation means. So that E stands for explanation of that in-text citation. And so you would write, for instance, it's 50% of Americans are overweight. I would say the majority or half of Americans are all like overweight. People need to eat smaller portions if they want to lose weight, or people can exercise in order to lose weight. In this way, less and less people will be obese if people eat more sensible food, whatever. Okay, so I come up with 5 sentences that directly talks about that one in-text citation. So that way, if you only use one in-text citation per paragraph, you do not overwhelm the reader with too many statistics. So that's another mistake that I'm seeing students make, is putting in too many in-text citations in your essay. So I think that's it for this lecture. So I waited a half hour for the student, and I guess she didn't really need my help. That's a good thing, I think. It means that the instructions are clear. And so if you have any questions, okay, feel free to email me. If you have any like emergencies that keep you from making you late for an assignment, then by all means contact me and tell me about it so I know what's going on. I know you didn't just disappear. So if you have any questions, okay, feel free to email me anytime. So this is Yvonne, Professor H, signing off and wishing you a great second half of the class. 4 more weeks and you'll be done. So congratulations on making it this far. And remember that I'm always here to help you. So email me and reach out to me if you need help. So have a great day.